would like to introduce a graphing system that we haven't done as of yet. But what we have done is something that's graphed in one dimension. We've used a number line. Now here's Dirac here, and he is going to point to two little points we have on this line. He pointed to a 3 there, which is 3 to the right of 0, and then he's going to -2, which is to the left of 0. That's graphing in one dimension. Now, I would like to talk about graphing on a plane, like a piece of paper. We need another axis. We'll call that the y-axis. And it splits the plane up into 4 sections. And here's the Bernoulli brothers here. And the upper right-handed section is called quadrant 1, and the one next to it is called quadrant 2. Oh, I've got a duck here. Now, here we're showing quadrant 3, which is the bottom left-handed corner, and quadrant 4, which is the bottom right-handed corner. Now, instead of having just one number to graph with, we will have 2 numbers. And these 2 numbers make what's called an ordered pair. The first number is called the abscissa, and it tells how far right or left we go from 0 on the x-axis. And the second number tells us how far up or down we go from 0 on the y-axis, and it's called the ordinate. So let's graph this point. So we go 3 to the right in a positive direction and 4 up in a positive direction. Things that are to the left of 0 and down are negative numbers. Now here's a set of ordered pairs here. Let's go ahead and graph these, and we should end up with a point in each one of the quadrants. So we go on our first point here, we go 5 to the right and 2 up. That gives us the point in the first quadrant. And then we go 3 to the left and 4 up, and that gives us a point in the second quadrant. And then we go 1 to the left of 0 and 4 down. That gets us into the third quadrant. And then we go 3 to the right and 2 down, and that puts us in the fourth quadrant. So that's now let's graph some more points here. I have a chart with some more ordered pairs here. Now there's something unusual that happens here when we graph these points, and I think you'll readily start to see as we graph here. So the first point here, we go 2 to the left and 3 down. And then the second point, we go 1 to the left on the x-axis and 1 down on the y-axis. And then the third point here, we don't move on the x-axis, but we go up 1 on the y-axis. Notice the points are starting to line up here. So in the fourth point, we go 1 to the right and 3 up. And our last point, we go 2 to the right and 5 up. So we have these points that are lining up, and we can connect them with a straight line. And that line has a name connected with it. It's an equation, y equals 2x plus 1. If you would substitute in values of x in our chart into that equation, you would get what's on the right-hand part of our chart here, those values for y. Let's put in x values and see what our y values are, and then go ahead and plot those points. So we'll first put in a 2, and we'll calculate out that y would equal 1. And so we go 2 to the right and 1 up. And then we'll put in a 1. And then that'll give us a -1 for the y value. So we go 1 to the right and 1 down on the y-axis. And then we put in a 0, we'll get a -3. So we'll just go down to -3 on the y-axis. And then we'll put in a -1 and get a -5 and go down. Again, we've got a line here, and that line is represented by y equals 2x minus 3. Now, let's suppose that we put a vertical line through x equals 4 on the number line there. Every value on that line, every x value on that line has a value of 4. And so we call that line x equals 4. There's no y component here. And now, similarly, we can do that on the y-axis. If we put a horizontal line through, let's say, -3 here, every value on that line has a y value of -3. So the name of that line is y equals -3. You have no x component. Okay, so let's graph a couple more points. Now I want you to notice there's a -2 there in front of the x. That is called the slope of the line. If it's negative, the slope is going to lean towards the left. If it's positive, it's going to lean toward the right. So when we graph this line, we're just going to use 2 points. We should get a slope here that leans towards the left, which we do. Our next example here, we're going to have a slope of 2/3. It's a positive 2/3, so the line should lean towards the right. So let's put in a couple values here. We'll put in 3 for x, and we'll get 2 for y. And so we go 3 to the right, 2 up, and then we put 0 in. We'll just get the origin, the middle of the graph there. And then we put in a -3, and then we should get a -2. And notice that the line slopes towards the right because we have a positive slope. And we'll be going over that more in the next lesson. Now here we got to work a little bit harder. We need to put it in the form of y equals something or another so we can graph better. Alright, so we subtract 2x from both sides, and then we divide through by 2, and then we get y equals -x minus 2. It's a better form here to graph our line with. So we'll put in a couple values here for x, and then we'll find out what y is. And notice that it has a negative out in front of the x, so the slope is going to go towards the left. So we go 2 to the right and 0 on the y-axis, and then 2 to the right and 4 down. Draw our line, and so that line matches with y equals x minus 2. Thank you.